Hey everybody, it's Eric with Arcade Hell, and I wanted to bring you an update for 2023. So, as you can see, I'm in a new space now. I moved back at the beginning of March, and so the last couple months have been a lot of time kind of just, moving homes and spending time with the family and trying to fix this place up, packing, unpacking, you know how it is. And so I've only been able to play a couple hours each week. But in that time, I've played some really good games. I've gotten a couple of clears. I have some commentaries coming out soon. And in this video, I just wanted to show you guys what I've been playing. So, first and foremost, I have been playing a bunch of DoDonPachi DaiFukkatsu, aka Resurrection on the Switch. I cannot get enough of this game. I think it's sweet. I would love to play some other DoDonPachi games, but they're not available on the Switch. And so in this game, I surprisingly was able to get a 2-wall in the novice mode, and I haven't been playing a bunch of the original. I've been mostly playing the Black Label, but I decided to just, check out all the other modes and play the novice original again. And I was playing with this 8BitDo M30, kind of like a Sega Saturn pad. And in my first play of Novice Original, I was able to get a 2-wall on this kind of 4-ring pad. Typically when I'm playing with an arcade stick. But yeah, that was really sweet. Maybe I'll put a video out for that. It was a pretty scrappy clear, and it's really long because it's 2 loops, but I did it. And then I've also been playing some Black Label. I've gotten the clear in this game with an Autobomb on ship, but I got beaten by the TLB. And so now I want to accomplish the run with a Autobomb off ship and be able to beat the TLB. And that's the run that I'll post on YouTube. But I've been working on this run for a really long time, and it's just very difficult. Besides that, I also got a clear in Mushihimesama Novice Maniac, and I'll have a commentary out for that one sometime soon. And I'll leave all that I want to say about that game for that video. Now, as for some more new games that I've been playing, I played a little bit of Crisis Wing, which is kind of like it kind of looks like Truxton, the Toaplan shooter. It's like kind of a bit more of a traditional shooter with some bullet hell mixed in. So, in other words, it's an absolute dadmaku, and I've been having a great time with this game. I really like the ship designs, the enemy designs, the power-up system, the movement speed. Like, it's just quick and zippy, and you're flying around, and enemies kind of come out in like caravan-style shooter patterns where they're kind of like sweeping in from the left and sweeping in from the right in kind of a clean fashion. And it hits you with the same sort of waves a lot. Basically asks, like, can you dodge this pattern like 5 times in a row, 6 times in a row? And the boss designs are really similar to that. And so it gets pretty challenging. I've had a hard time with the game. I quarter-fed my way through it once, and on 1 quarter, I think I can only get to like level 3 or 4 out of 7. So it's a challenge, but someday I would love to clear that game. I've also been playing a bunch of Demon's Tilt, which is it's a pinball game with kind of a really sweet scoring system. It's got chaining. It has like all these, just like any other pinball game, you got all these markers that you're trying to hit on the screen to like start up these sequences, which they call rituals, because the game has this sort of occult horror setting. And so it's got various Lovecraftian monsters and this like demented priestess nun. And then it has like a chimera, and they're all shooting bullets at you. And aesthetically, this game is among the coolest I've ever played. It is just sick, and it's great fun. I'd like to work up to a 1 billion score, and I'll post some milestone videos along the way so that you guys can hear what kind of strategies I'm entailing as as my skills progress. I've also been playing a good bit of the Ninja Savior's Return of the Warriors, which is a corny ass title for the old, it's a remake of a SNES game called The Ninja Warriors. I think it was also an arcade game, but anyway, this game has cool player character designs, your robot ninjas, your android ninjas. It's got cool boss designs and level designs and really sweet movement systems. And it has a lot of flow where like you're using these cool like aerial approaches that fly you through the air, or sort of like sliding attacks that get you closer to the enemies that then combo you into throwing them through the air and then juggling them across the arena. And the game just feels sweet. And unlike other beat 'em ups, you don't have the sort of like in and out plane. It's just straight 2D, kind of like a platformer, but there's no platforming in the game. And got like a power system where you're charging up for these special moves, that you have a lot of versatility with each character. And once your meter is totally full, you have a bomb, kind of like a shmup. And that thing is juicy. This game is also really fun as a 2-player beat 'em up. Besides that, I've also been playing Streets of Rage 4, which is more traditional beat 'em up because it has that in and out depth plane. And I like the emphasis on character positioning that gives you. It doesn't feel nearly as fluid as the Ninja Saviors does. And so I've been more drawn to playing the Ninja Saviors, and Streets of Rage 4 is also just a really long game, so I don't know if I'll ever get the clear in it, but if I get pulled into beat 'em ups more, then yeah, I'll go for a clear in that as well. And another thing about this game is that with it not being as smooth, I find myself kind of like, I'll try to like aerial approach an enemy, and they'll just blast me out of the air with an uppercut or something like that. And you just have to be more careful in this game than you do in the Ninja Saviors, if you ask me. And I think the combos are harder to pull off in this one too. Then I've also been playing some Hades, and this is a roguelike game. It has some interesting parallels to shmups because to beat the game, you have to do it in one credit, otherwise it sends you back to the beginning. But I really don't like that you power up between runs in this game. It almost makes it feel like unless you're a freaking amazing player from the get-go, you're never really meant to beat the game on your first playthrough. It kind of feels tailored to being beaten after you've powered up a little bit. And then from there, it has some modifications in it to make the game more difficult. I haven't unlocked those yet, but I read about them somewhere. Between those things, it's just kind of like silly in the design in a way that I don't appreciate that much. I've always been more interested in games where there aren't any level ups. It's okay if you power up in the middle of a single game. Like think Quake 3, okay? Everyone starts out on a level playing field, but then you power up over the course of the game by controlling the map and picking up the power-ups and getting shield and over health points, kind of overcharging your HP, getting more weapons, that sort of thing. That's sweet. And I like that about Hades, that you're kind of like powering yourself up over the course of a run. But the inter-run level ups, lame, man. I just don't like that. Personal taste, I think that shit's bogus. And so if you can't tell from that comment, I'm not a huge fan of RPG games. They've never really been my thing. I've only played like Morrowind. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. That game kicks ass. All right, and then I also wanted to kind of give an overview as to how it is that I've been setting goals. And maybe I'll put another video out about this someday, going into it more in depth. But First and foremost, I'm kind of following the guidelines set by Sterny in his interview on the Shmuptopia channel with Dace. And he has a guide, check the description for a link to that guide, where he describes strategies for training. Not just playing games for fun, but training in shmups. And what he describes is, you pick a primary game, and this is kind of the rubric for your skill. So if you want to test, if you want feedback, how good am I getting at these games? You can always go back to your primary game and see what modes have you accomplished. You know, it's great to pick a primary game that has a lot of different modes, like DoDonPachi has, or DaiFukkatsu has novice modes and arranges out the wazoo. So right now I'm struggling with a black label novice, and someday I think it'll be a cakewalk for me. Fingers crossed. But in that way I'll be able to see how far I've come. So that I don't get burnt out playing my primary game, I also have a secondary game, and I alternate between the two each week. And I try to pick, for my secondary game, I'm trying to pick games that are different from DoDonPachi DaiFukkatsu. And as I beat the secondary game, I then change it for something that's harder. And so I have a huge list of secondary games, and I've ranked them by their difficulty according to the Shmups forum difficulty ranking list, aka the meme list. And that way I also kind of always know what game to train in next. In my primary game, I go to the next hardest difficulty every time I beat the current difficulty. So I'm going from novice original to novice black label to original to black label. And maybe I'll play some arranges in there as well. Kind of depends on what I'm feeling. But right now I'm playing that novice black label. And as I play these games, I record my clears. I also record high scores as I get them. And that way I have kind of a library of the achievements that I've made thus far. So another thing that I've been doing is kind of tracking my high score as I play, so that even if I'm not getting a clear, I have my score that I can look at and say, even though I'm not getting a clear, my high score is improving, and so my skills are probably improving too. These games typically have all this feedback that you're doing well by, you know, the enemies die faster, there's more score items on screen, your high score is increasing, all sorts of things are kind of going down, even though I'm not getting the clear. And I mean, in that same vein, once you have the clear, those feedback mechanisms still exist as like an additional layer of depth, where when you got more shit going on screen and you're getting a higher score, you know that you're getting better at the game. Your skills are progressing. And so, I don't know, to any players out there that don't like scoring systems, I hope that encourages you to see them in a different way, maybe interact with them more. Personally, I'm very drawn to the scoring systems. I think they make the game so much more in-depth to play. I suck at the scoring, but I am really drawn to it. I like in DoDonPachi DaiFukkatsu, like trying to get my chain as high as I can and then entering into hyper and just canceling all the bullets into stars, and that shit's sweet, man. Like, I don't know. It just makes the game really, really fun. A lot more fun than just trying to survive. But my primary objective is survival, but I can't help but mix some scoring in there too. I've talked on the Discord a couple of times about like how it is that I approach training and stuff, and I think some people might get the wrong idea of that, you know, training shmups. I'm trying to explain like how you should be playing shmups. No, I want to explain how I've been training shmups, because training is different than just playing the games. By playing the games, of course, you'll probably get better, but training is an attempt to increase your skills in a more efficient manner. And I still just play the games too. I try to train only like in a 30-minute stint. An hour stint if I'm lucky, because sometimes I get really pulled into training. I'm like, oh, I just want to go through these stages. I just want to train more. But an hour at most. Besides that, I just play the games and have fun with them. Check out the different modes, try out all the shmups that I have in my library. That sort of thing. Check out fun games, because like I keep saying in like every video, these games kick so much ass. I'm having a blast. All right, so that's my update for 2023 here in April. Thanks for checking out the vid. Y'all take care.